Alright, so we're back in the world of Crimson Desert, and today guys, I'm going to be showing you my spin to win Oongka meteor build. Now, to give you guys a brief breakdown of how the build works, simply we're using the ancient Retribution rune, which makes it so whenever we input shift left click, is going to call down meteors that will deal pretty solid AoE damage. And seeing that the input for spin to win is shift left click, you can actually spin while doing pretty solid AoE damage. Because Oongka have the ability to enrage, which gives him super armor, he is very hard to control, and you can just continuously spin as long as you're enraged and have stamina. We also put a bit of stamina siphon on this build, which you could in theory put more to really make it go even crazier in the future, but for now we have some decent stamina siphon, making our spin go a lot longer way. We hyper invest into stamina so we can spin a lot more. And what you get is a build where Oongka just spins uncontrollably, dealing insane AoE damage, dealing solid single target damage, and just an overall fun build. If you are a fan of spin to win builds and you want to be powerful on Oongka, let me show you how to put this build together. Alright, now that you guys have a better idea of how the build works, we're going to dive into a little bit more detailed breakdown so you guys know where to find the gear and things of that sort. As always guys, just want to start the video by saying if you do want to help support me with no cost to you, drop a like as well as possibly subscribe. We're still trying to reach 50,000 subs by the end of the year. If you want to help out the channel and keep yourself up to date on action RPGs and stuff, just subscribe. It helps me a ton. Let's talk about the build. I'm going to try to start off with the things that's most important or core to the build, right? So first off, I guess we can talk about the main skill you'll be utilizing, which is going to be the Raging Lightning. All you need to do is press shift and left click rapidly to spin your body and slashing at enemies. There's an argument to be made to not have pro efficiency, as this will give you increased cost to your stamina for mobility. And like if you're facing bosses, you don't necessarily need this, as bosses tend to stay in place. But this is going to be one that you could kind of get a feel for on what you want. But basically you're holding shift and you're doing spin. So the input is shift left click for mouse and keyboard, and this is a perfect pairing with a skill called Ancient Retribution, and then we're just going to look at it really quick so you get a better idea of it. Well, actually it doesn't show it in the screen, but there's a boss that does it, so I'll probably have it playing on screen. It has nothing to do with this build, but I'll just show you the boss that I fought at the time. But the boss basically drops these things that fall from the sky, and the same input is basically shift left click. And so when you're using that, you're actually using the skill. And the thing with this is actually using portions of your stamina. And that's why there's multiple other skills you can use in place of this or in addition to this, but it's going to cost you a massive amount of stamina. So you really want to be very careful when you're using this one, and that's why I only use one. Now where you need to find this is over here in Pyloon. So Pyloon here. You need to do this quest here called the Fire of Ringing Truth. You just go to the top, you drop down the bell, you fight the boss, and then he will drop this for you. He's a pretty, I would say, medium tier boss for the most part. The way we have this allocated is with stamina siphon, and we have it in a double-headed axe of greed, and I'll show you where to find the double-headed axe of greed. So this is Hernand, and all the way down here in the Demoness Southern Cliff shipwreck is going to be down there in the shipwreck, down at the very bottom floor, hidden under some barrels. Again, I'll have it playing on screen, and it's going to be under there. It's really hidden and really impossible to find, but this is an axe you can use. For my other axe, we're using a Mave axe, which has 3 attack speed in it. Most of our offensive things are attack speed focused, as you can see here with these weapons. So you want to put attack speed here. The reason why I'm using a Mave weapon is because it has built-in attack speed and 1 crit. And the thing about this weapon is when it's fully upgraded, I can just show you, it's going to have more attack speed, right? So we really want to hyper invest into attack speed. And this one, for example, when it's fully upgraded, it's going to have level 3 crit. And I kind of wanted to balance it out so that it has good crit and a good attack speed. And that's kind of the idea behind using these 2 weapons. Now, as for the armor pieces, you're going to be using the Ashhead Plate Helm. Oongka doesn't really have a lot of options, if I'm being completely honest. At least not at this point in the game for me. That's why I'm using it. You could put defense in the helmet. I put DR in it because that's what I had available. But you can go with a defense head, basically. In order to find this helmet, you're going to go back to Pyloon again. You're going to be facing off the boss in, I believe it was this fortress or this fortress. I'll have it on screen which boss it was, but it was one of these 2 fortresses, basically. As for the rest of the armor pieces, we're just going to quickly go over it. The Soulless Plate armor comes with just completing the story. And so I just added a bunch of defense to it. I just kept finding defenses, buying it gear from vendors that had it, or just finding shields with it because shields can roll with it. I would take it out and I would just put it on and just kept upgrading it just for defense. And then the Ashen Wolf stuff, this is what you get naturally. I have Colossal Might into this, and this isn't important to the build. Once again, this is something you get from just naturally playing the game. Colossal Might, this is just progressing the story. You will find this eventually. But I put attack speed and Colossal Might just to add a little bit of extra oomph to it. For the most part, that is pretty much for the gear equipment. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer. For our accessories, I went with move speed and defense earrings. The ancient earring, and then the engraved gold earring. This one you probably all have because this is a very common one. But the ancient earring also has that modifier, and the guy you actually get the orb from, this guy over here, drops the ancient earring as well. So it's actually pretty nice. So you can get a lot of the parts from that one guy. So that's really nice. I wanted the move speed because obviously this is a spin to win build. You want to get on top of your enemies. I think that's pretty obvious, but that's why we use it. So yeah, that's why we have these. For our necklace, we have the Ogre Ring necklace. It's called a ring, but it's a necklace, which is really weird. But anyway, it has base 5 attack. There are 2 ways to get this item very, very easily. But yeah, straightforward. It just gives a little bit of spirit regen, which we do need a little bit. So where you can find these are 2 places. So I'm going to show you quickly on the map. In Demoness, there is going to be a treasure chest in here. Or right here. It's like one of these 2 locations. You can look on your map. So somewhere right here or here. I'll have it playing on screen. It's going to be like in a box hidden behind a wall. You just basically open it and then one will be in there. Super easy. Or you can go the hard route and come over here to the Crimson Desert. And I can't show it because I already killed him. But it will be an ogre guy here at the Desolate Megalith Altar. He is actually fairly tough. I would put him like above average in terms of strength. And he can CC you pretty heavily, and he's really strong. So either way, you can get the necklace from those 2 ways. This would probably be easier for most of you as you just go in and just steal it from the castle, but you do have to be careful. And for reference, it will drop with the same tier. It'll be tier 5 either way. So just use go with it how you will. Finally, for our rings, this is a Polynesia Signet. I got it because I had crit and attack, wanted a little bit of crit for my spins. This one you get, again, naturally from just progressing the story. So by the time you get to chapter 7 or 8, you should have a good portion of these items naturally come to your inventory. Very few of these you actually have to go get yourself. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Finally, we have the Ring of Lightning. This has a lightning charge effect that charges over time. It is not important to the build, but it is cool. But the thing is, it does give you 4 attack, and that's why I'm using it. You cannot upgrade either of these 2, but if you want to personalize it for your build, feel free to do that. That's up to you, but that's what I'm using. If you are looking for this one, just for a quick, easy 4 attack, where was it? It was in Whisperleaf Fortress, here. And you simply go to a graveyard. I'll see if I have the footage for it. You go to a graveyard, you hit a grave, and it'll unlock a secret, and you just finish the puzzle in the thing, and you'll get it. So that is where you get this one. A good portion of this build is actually from the Payloon area, so it's actually really nice. Alright, as for our skills, we have 10 points in stamina. Most of our DPS comes from our stamina, so more stamina, more DPS, super important to keep that in mind. As for arm, this is another one that's important. Armed combat, this gives you more damage when you increase it, so that's super important. Obviously, rating slash, we talked about this in the intro, or near the beginning of the video. Kind of pick on how you want to do this, but these are mandatory pickups, at least 1 point. Over on our HP, we have 11 points because well, we don't want to die. And then we have 3 points into spirit, which is not as important if I'm being honest, but it is nice to have. Overall, the build investment is not that crazy in terms of like your skill allocation. You're allocating mainly flat stats, mainly stamina is the big thing here for this build up. With that said, that's gonna be it for this one. I really appreciate you guys stopping by and checking out the videos. Let me know down in the comments, what would you like to see next in terms of a build. I can make something for Cliff, Damian, Oongka, whatever you want, let me know, and I'll be pushing some stuff out. If we get some good votes on something, I'll probably kind of focus on that. As always, as I said in the intro, if you want to help support the channel, drop a like as well as subscribe. That helps me out. We're still trying to reach that 50,000 by the end of the year, and keep yourself up to date with all things ARPG, so it's a win-win for both of us. My name is Fervor, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video very soon.